Thank you very much, councillors, members of senior staff. A warm welcome to you to our July meeting of Temora Shire Council, and thank you very much for making the time to be here. In declaring the meeting open, I advise that this meeting is being recorded and will be placed on Temora Shire Council's webpage for public information. The Mayor and councillors are reminded that of our oath and our affirmation of office made under Section 23A of the Local Government Act 1993 and of our obligations under Council's Code of Conduct to disclose and appropriately manage conflicts of interest. And of course, all present today, we're reminded that whilst we're speaking, that we agree that our views and comments are being recorded and published. We're also reminded that if or when speaking, that we're to be respectful of others and use appropriate language. Temora Shire Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures during this council meeting. I shall now lead us in our opening prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory are yours, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you very much, councillors. Councillors, given that it's NAIDOC week, I have invited Councillor Hawken to deliver our acknowledgement of country for our July meeting, and I'm delighted to hand over to Councillor Hawken.
Thank you, Mayor Furman. As we begin tonight's meeting, I'd like to acknowledge the Wiradjuri people, who are the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet. I pay my respects to elders past and present and extend that respect to all in the chamber this evening. The Wiradjuri people have cared for this land for countless generations, maintaining deep connections to country, culture and community. Their stories, knowledge and leadership continues to guide us and inspire us today. Last week we celebrated National NAIDOC Week, a time to honour the history, culture and achievements of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. This year's theme, The Next Generation, Strength, Vision and Legacy, celebrates the accomplishments of those who came before us, while recognising the strength of today's young people who will carry their legacy forward. It reminds us the future is being built right now, grounded in culture, pride and community-led leadership. While here in Temora Shire we live, work and gather on Wiradjuri country, NAIDOC Week gives us an important opportunity to reflect on our shared history, to learn from one another and to celebrate the enduring strength of First Nations peoples and cultures. As councillors and community leaders, we recognise that leadership is more than making decisions. It's about listening deeply, honouring those who came before us and ensuring that our actions today support the generations to come. In Wiradjuri culture, leadership is grounded in respect, responsibility and connection to people, to place and to truth. These are values that can positively guide us on how we lead and serve our community in Temora Shire. May this meeting and the decisions we make together reflect the wisdom of the past, the needs of the present and the promise of the future. Let us lead with care, listen with intent and act in the best interests of all those who call Temora Shire home, now and for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hawken. Councillors, do we have any declarations of interest at this time, please? Councillor Smith. Councillor Smith? Sorry, Councillor Smith.
Yeah, non-pecuniary interest because for the Temora Shire Gravel as a life member and a patron.
Thank you very much, Councillor Smith. Further, Councillor Hawken.
Non-pecuniary interest, REP 25478 on page 362, just the Southern Sports Academy sponsorship due to the nature of my employment as a high school teacher. Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Hawken. I now go to the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, item 16.1 in correspondence, conflict of interest for family members involved.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Councillor Dukic.
Same as Councillor Smith with the showground. I'm part of the Showground Trust and also a committee member of the Showground and Show Society.
Thank you very much, Councillor Dukic. I declare that I have pecuniary interests in the Traffic Committee reports 4.3, Access and Equity Committee, as well in a non-pecuniary in relation to the Temora Shire Society. And I go to the Director of Environmental
Yeah, I'd
Services.
just like to declare a pecuniary interest on 12.3 on page 280.
Thank you. And just remember, those of you that haven't thought of any conflicts at this time, you may do so prior to consideration of the report before you. So thank you very much. We don't have any public presentations. Councillors, before the minutes are confirmed, I would like to place on Council's record my sincere apology in relation to last month's council meeting and the point of order that Councillor Irvine had raised. I apologise unreservedly for not asking Councillor Irvine what his point of order was in relation to. I did assume it was a matter that would be raised in the confidential papers, and I acknowledge I should not have made that assumption. So I thank the Chamber for that. Councillors, could I have a motion, please, receiving the confirmation of the minutes of our last meeting as a true and correct record? Councillor Smith.
Yep, move that way.
Thank you. Councillor Smith has moved that way. Seconded the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, moved. Seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. I declare the motion carried. Thank you very much. Councillors, Madam General Manager, matters arising from the minutes, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Through you, Mr Mayor, there are no matters arising.
Thank you. Councillors, let's now proceed to page 8 of your business paper, the mayoral minute. As council are aware, our former long-serving Director of Administration and Finance, Mr Stephen Reginald Firth, passed away recently in his hometown of Grafton. Mr Firth served as our Director from the 2nd of April 2002 and retired on the 1st of May of 2020. It was most unfortunate that due to COVID, the council of the day were unable to have a proper farewell. Mr Firth will be fondly remembered as a tough but fair man. He was plain talking and didn't suffer fools gladly. Mr Firth would hold his own in any debate, and even if there was vehement disagreement, he'd be the first to buy you a beer afterwards. Mr Firth was a tremendous support to council, especially during those dreaded fit for the future years. He was a man you'd like to be in the trenches with. Council also acknowledges Mr Firth's contributions to community groups. He was a strong and active member of the Temora Lions Club. He also assisted with the Temoran District Cricket Association, the Temoran District Sports Council, the Temoran District Education Fund Debutante Ball, and essentially anyone that asked for a hand, he was willing to give it. The thoughts and prayers of Temora Shire councillors, our General Manager, Ms Boxall, our staff and our citizens remain with Mr Firth's wife, Mrs Judy Firth, and their family. To honour Mr Firth's passing and his extensive contributions to Temora Shire, I invite all gathered in the chamber to please rise in our places and observe a moment's silence in honour of Mr Firth. I thank the chamber. Pardon me. Councillors, if I could please have a motion noting that the mayoral minute be noted, please. Thank you, Councillor Smith. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, moved, seconded, discussion. Discussion, I go to Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm one of the fortunate ones. I'm on council and used to be a staff member underneath Steve Furr. One thing that I loved within the report about how he was would always be there for you. His office used to be right near the counter, and sometimes people come to the council a little bit aggravated, and Steve would be the first one there to back you up in any instance. He was a great man for that. So one thing I forgot to do too, I was going to bring some coins and have it in my pocket today just to jingle. Anyway, he was a lovely man. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bushell, for those lovely reflections. Any other comments? If no further discussion or comments, I'll put the motion to you. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. I declare the motion carried unanimously, and I thank the chamber. I'll go, councillors, now to page 12, the minutes of Council's Traffic Committee meeting, and I'd declaring my pecuniary interest in relation to 4.3, I'd invite the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, if he'd assume the chair for, I'll vacate for the Traffic Committee report. Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, council and staff. First report is the 4.1 road safety audit. Councillor Smith's in the chair. Councillor Smith. Oh, okay, just before I start then, could I have a motion in that we receive a note that it...
That the reports be received.
Yep, okay. Okay, move Councillor Mann, second. Councillor Dewey. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Okay, over to Councillor Smith. Do you want to move the report be received?
Engineering, the authoriser is the engineering assets manager, and whether he would like to... Oh, sorry.
Just
The author was an engineering technical officer and the engineering assets manager, and if he would like to inform council more on...
No, the report's there is written.
Nothing more? We have... there's legislation there, Guide to Road Safety, Ausroads, there's a fair bit in this. Do you want each one passed, or you want to pass it as a whole?
we'll handle it. Councillor Smith, but just unless you've got any comments you'd like to make on either report.
No, I think the report is self-explanatory, and we just need a mover and a seconder for that report.
General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. In terms of the reports from the Traffic Committee, we've got report 4.3 in the Traffic Committee and 4.3 within Access and Equity. I'm recommending that the way to manage those particular reports today is that they be noted as opposed to having the recommendations be adopted, given that both of these matters will be considered holistically at report 13.1 by Council. So potentially the recommendations could be that it's recommended that report 4.3 be noted, and that if the Council is comfortable with the remaining recommendations, there becomes another recommendation that it says it is recommended that the remaining reports and recommendations as presented be adopted. So it's up to the council if they're comfortable with that, but I believe that might be the neatest way to manage that particular matter.
Okay, councillors, we'll handle 4.3 first, if happy with that. Do you want to have it, Councillor Judd?
Yeah, happy to move it, be noted.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Judd. Seconder, Councillor Hawkins, second the motion. Any discussion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Now we go to the rest of the report. Any comments or on the rest of the report of Councillor Mann?
So this is all on proviso that we get the funding. Because that's what it said, didn't it? It's all to do with getting the funding to do to go further with it. Isn't that the original recommendation?
Which report which report are you talking about?
Well, if you go to where we got to at 4.1, well, we sort of skipped over that, didn't we? Went to 4.3.
We handled 4.3 by itself, and now we're going back to the rest of the report.
Right.
Any further comments, or someone like to note the report received? Councillor Irvine?
So we're dealing with 4.1, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I've got a question for the Engineering Assets Manager. The road safety order, are there any designs or recommended designs coming out of that for a pedestrian crossing at the rail crossing on Polaris Street?
The engineering manager?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Listen, we've already got a design for that particular crossing. However, I think the recommendation is that it goes to the other side, but I'd have to. So basically, the way the recommendation reads, I believe, is that anything that's already funded gets done. Anything that's not funded be considered at budget estimates. And the Polaris Street pedestrian crossing is definitely part of our future plans, but there's still a lot of unknowns and uncertainty around exactly how that happens and how it's funded.
Councillor Irvine?
So just to clarify, you've got a design for a crossing on the northern side.
That's correct.
The majority of pedestrian use is on the southern side. ARTC aren't big fans of the southern side option. However, it is probably council's preferred option. Would you agree with that statement?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any further comments, councillors? If not, someone like to move a motion, please? Councillors, if there is a motion on the screen. If someone's happy with that, could they move that, please? Councillor Hawkins?
I'm happy to remove the recommendation that the remainder of the reports and recommendations as presented be adopted.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Hawkins. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Judd, second the motion. Any further discussion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Motion carried. Sorry, councillors, page 167, the Access and Equity meeting. Who's in the chair there? Sorry. Councillor Bushell?
I was an apology for that meeting.
Okay.
Mayor Rick Furman sat in it until he had to vacate, and I don't know who was in the chair there. I think it was Councillor Smith.
Councillor, okay. Would you like to move the report we received, Councillor Smith?
Yeah, move the report be received.
Thank you. Have a seconder, please. Councillor Bushell, second the motion. Further discussion? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Is there any report you'd like to, anything you'd like to mention? Councillor Smith, out of the report? If not,
There was a bit of an issue with the Bundawara Centre access parking, but it seemed to resolve that. Hoskin Street parking, there's a few things there, and I think most people have read it. And they go from there with it.
okay, thanks, Councillor Smith. Once again, we'll work on item 4.3 first. Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to reiterate what the General Manager said before. I'd like to move that we note 4.3.
Okay. 4.3 has been noted by Councillor Bushell. A seconder, Councillor Hawken. Further discussion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Now to the rest of the report. There's a motion of Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move that the recommendations for 4.1 and 4.2 be moved and adopted.
Okay. Move Councillor Bushell, second to Councillor Hawken. Discussion? If not, Councillor Irvine.
The recommendation in 4.1 seems to be extremely sensible and very low cost to council to implement, and the recommendation in 4.2 that council wait for the completion of the Deboo Street Master Plan costing is comment was made that that's not going to take very long, so I think that needs to be noted so that this matter doesn't drag on too much. The request for St Anne's School to have a accessible parking space close to the front of the school is a very valid request to my mind, and when you consider that it's a K-12 school and the location that they're proposing gets the person quickly undercover to the front of the school where the office is and also where the lift is at the school. It makes a lot of sense in an access and equity setting. So whilst I agree that it is sensible to wait for the Deboo Street Master Plan costings, I do believe it is a high priority access and equity issue, and I think as part of council's obligations in this space, when you consider the schools should have good accessible options for disabled access. So I agree with the recommendation, just noting that I would really hope that this gets actioned sooner rather than later.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Irvine. Engineering Manager.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, listen, our intent will be to try and bring that back to the next council meeting. I think, honestly, even like my drive to get this done is more so to provide a response. Because, say if we go to do this work, it's still going to cost a minimum sort of probably $10,000, and that's currently unbudgeted. So it'd either need to be budgeted by council out of somewhere, or it'd go to budget estimates. But absolutely plan to try and get it back to get a response and have a plan on how we treat this, along with the town hall. I think that's another area that suffers the exact same issue.
Thank you, Manager. Is there any further comments? Or would someone like to move the recommendation, the resolution? Oh, sorry, you have to. Yep, sorry. Nothing further. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Motion carried. That's the lot. Mr. Mayor, while you were out of the room, the minutes from the Traffic Committee and also the Access and Equity Committee reports were all received and noted.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor, and I thank the Chamber. Let us now go to our next committee report, and that is on page 211, the Assets and Operations Committee, and the Deputy Mayor is the Chairman.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Move the report be received.
Thank you. The Deputy Mayor's moved the reports received. Is there a seconder for the motion? Thank you, Councillor Dukic. Moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare that motion carried. Thank you. Mr. Deputy Mayor, do you have any items that you wish to highlight?
Not at this stage, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Irvine.
Item number 4.4 is a tree removal request at 87 Loftus Street. There was a recommendation that flowed from that, and my belief, and I just got to find that page, that the requesters bear the full cost of this process. Now, it was on the basis.
Sorry, pardon me, Councillor Irvine. Councillor Mann.
Yeah, well, should I leave the room on this? I left at the assets at the previous meeting.
Oh, right, yeah. Thanks, Councillor Mann. Councillor Mann's vacated the chamber, clearing that interest as we're discussing 4.4. Councillor Irvine.
Now, the reasoning, as I understand it from that meeting, was that the trees were there before the car wash got put in, and therefore the people requesting the removal should bear the full cost of removal. However, that doesn't sit with Council's previous decision regarding a tree removal at Temora Truck and Tractor Service, because again, that tree was there before Council did the drainage works under the road and Temora Truck and Tractor was built. It's obviously the tree in that location was probably a remnant tree from, it could have been a couple of 100 years old. It's a massive big old ironbark. So the argument that the trees were there before the car wash, so they should pay the bill, is in conflict with the reasoning that was used in the other matter, whereby that tree had been there well before any infrastructure and buildings and anything else had been done, yet council picked up the tab for that removal, but council won't pick up the tab for this removal. So I do believe that it would be fair and reasonable for council to ask the applicant if they would like to contribute to the cost, but in fairness and in reference to the previous decision, I think council should reconsider the condition that council accede to the request subject to full cost recovery.
Thank you very much, Councillor Irvine. Councillor, I'm glad you raised the 4.4 that is on page 227. You will note that inadvertently that the mover and the seconder of the recommendation that appears on that page was left out of that. So the actual mover was myself as a member of the committee and seconded by Councillor Irvine at that time. Of course, that recommendation was, of course, to accede to the request subject to full cost recovery, to be paid by the applicant for the costs incurred to remove the trees and replace with suitable species. 2, that London plane trees be only used in situations of open space without conflict with urban infrastructure, and this be noted in EW8 Urban Tree Management Plan Approved Tree Species Register. And thirdly, that the Temora Services Memorial Club be notified of the decision. So in relation to 4.4, Councillor Irvine, you've obviously had time to further reflect, but I think you did allude to those thoughts at the Assets Committee meeting as well. Again, I'm in the Council's hands in relation to 4.4. You have a recommendation there, or unless there's an alternate motion. Did the Executive Manager Engineering Services?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Only to make the following points, just in relation to the removal of the subject trees at the car wash. Really, there's no reason within council's policy to remove. They're a nuisance tree, but they're currently not causing infrastructure damage. They're sort of all around town. They're in many surrounding towns. They're in Wagga's Main Street, Tumut's Main Street, Gundagai's Main Street, many rural towns. In relation to the tree at Temora Truck and Tractor, I would have to go back and look at the report itself, but what I can absolutely, definitely confirm is there is drainage works for council to do there and that are incomplete, and it relates to the need to open the mouth of the culvert that crosses the road. You'll see there's a surface culvert that crosses the road right at the front of Temora Truck and Tractor. At the moment, it's very, very restricted to get water to that culvert, and the water jumps the road prior to over the road prior to that culvert running at capacity because it just can't get into it. And that was, from memory, that's the premise of agreeing to the Temora Truck and Tractor request. But as I just mentioned, I'd have to go back to that report.
Thank you, Mr. Executive Manager. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I do remember the time when that was part of the reasoning why council moved to have the tree removed. It was initiated by Temora Truck and Tractor, but I do remember that part of the reasoning that we acceded to that request was that because that potential issues was going to cause with water drainage in the area.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. I think you're spot on. Councillor Irvine.
Well, just to add further comment to that culvert, the main culvert under the road was put there and that tree was in place then. So that was all done with that tree in situ the first time. And, whether or not it should have been removed at that point in time to do a better job of it at that point in time is debatable. However, It's just purely along the fairness element of this and the consistency in the decision making that council met the cost of the removal. It was a Temora truck and tractor request. Their request was removal of that tree because it was dropping leaves and debris on their display stock, and they didn't have to bear any of the cost. This is another situation where a business owner has said that the trees are causing them additional costs and problems with their drainage and everything else. And I would be much happier if the option was given to the owners to contribute to the cost voluntarily, but I don't believe that it should be contingent upon that. So if I could move a motion to adjust the recommendation that council accede to the request and seek contribution for the cost from the business owner at point 1 in the recommendation, and that point 2 and point 3 remain as is. I'd like to put that motion.
Thank you, councillor. And that's in relation to 4.4, titled A Tree Removal Request 87 Loftus Street Car Wash. You're moving that motion to replace the existing recommendation from the committee, which is suggesting accede to the request subject to full cost recovery to be paid for by the applicant for the costs incurred to remove the trees and replace with suitable species. So you're moving that way. Thank you, councillor Irvine. Is there a seconder for the motion? Seconder for the motion. Third and last time, a seconder for the motion. If not, I declare that motion lost. Thank you, councillor Irvine. I go to councillor. I'm just giving the team time to catch up. So in discussion, councillor Irvine, have you concluded? Thank you. Councillor Bushell, oh, you're right. Okay, thank you. Sorry. I had a question if there was a second. Oh, I beg your pardon. Yep, thank you. Okay. Councillors, any other items in relation to Assets and Operations Committee report and its recommendations? No, if not, is someone prepared to move the Assets and Operations Committee report and its recommendations, please? Thank you. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair. Second, Councillor Smith. Moved, seconded. Further discussion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Councillor Mann, welcome back to the chamber during your temporary absence. There was a recommendation, a motion rather, in relation to 4.4 to adjust the recommendation from the committee that on point 1 accede to the request and seek a contribution from the business owner, and that point 2 and 3 remain. That motion elapsed for want of a seconder, and then of course the report and recommendations contained in the Assets and Operations Committee were adopted. So thank you. Now let's go over to page 258, the Minutes of the Economic Development Visitations Committee report, and Councillor Judd is the chairman.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'll move the report be received.
Thank you. Councillor Judd's moved the report's received. Is there a seconder for the motion, please? Thank you, Councillor Bushell. Moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Councillor Judd, any items that you'd like to highlight for the chamber, please?
One main item of discussion was about the Dredge Festival, which just concluded in June, and discussion was about whether to hold it a monthly one or go to Drench Festival 12 months round. So there's pros and cons of both, or both ideas, but the present motion is to, on page 260, and to look at it being a year-round arts and cultural festival. So that's the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Judd. Councillors, you have the Economic Development Visitations Committee report and recommendations there for you to consider. Is someone prepared to move that we adopt those, or is there an alternate view? Thank you, Councillor Judd. You're moving the Economic Development Visitations Committee report and recommendations be adopted. Thank you. Is there a seconder for the motion? Thank you, the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair. Moved, seconded, further discussion. There's no further discussion. I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare that carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Let's go to page 267. The minutes of Council's Aerodrome Users Committee meeting, and Councillor Judd once again is the chairman of that committee.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I'll move the report be received.
Thank you. Councillor Judd has moved the reports received. Is there a seconder for the motion, please? Councillor Mann, thank you. Moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Councillor Judd, any items that you would like to highlight to the chamber?
Oh, just on page 268, good to see that Temora's been allocated the state gliding championships once more. There's another achievement. We've got a good record of staging those championships, and good to see them coming back. And the second one on 269 about the young flyers coming, and looks like we've got 250 attendees already registered. I think the target is we have to get about 500, so looks really good, so promising. So that's all, Mr Chairman.
Thank you very much, Councillor Judd. Yeah, it certainly is very exciting for the activity out there. So thank you. Councillors, you have the report there and recommendations. Is someone prepared to move the report and recommendations be adopted, or is there an alternate motion? Thank you.
Move.
Thank you. Councillor Judd has moved that the Aerodrome Users Committee report and recommendations be adopted. Seconded. Councillor Mann, thank you. Moved. Seconded. Discussion. Now, discussion, Councillor Mann.
Yeah, there was one thing there. The youth in flyers, we're very appreciative of the work that Gracie Mannion's been doing for them.
Thank you, Councillor Mann. Yes, that is noted, and thank you for highlighting that, Councillor Mann, and to our Environmental Engineering Department Secretary, Miss Mannion, congratulations and keep up the good work. So Councillor Judd, Councillor Mann moved and seconded that the report and recommendations for aerodrome users be adopted. A further discussion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Now, let's go over to page 272, delegates' reports. We have delegates' reports for council. We have some there. List the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. One I would like to point out is the Lions Club changeover and the work they've done. I'm pretty sure we're all well aware of their contribution to our community, but in the last 12 months they've packed or baled up 220 tonne of cardboard and paper and shipped out of the Shire. They've had 250,000 cans and bottles to the return and earn, and they've had 360 shovel bins of plastic. And on top of that, they've donated $27,900. So for a group of 30 people, I think that's a pretty big contribution to our Shire, and certainly a big saving on our landfill. I think it's very impressive.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor, and for representing myself and the council at that changeover. Yeah, we're very, very blessed to have a strong Lions Club, and also it was my honour to attend the installation of Councillor Judd as the President of the Rotary Club of Temora. It was a real honour to be there, and Councillor Dukic come along with me as well, so thank you, Councillor Dukic. We congratulate Councillor Judd and your board and your members on what you also do for Temora Shire. We've got two outstanding service clubs and we're blessed to have them. Thank you. Further delegates' reports. Not just obviously, it was great. Some councils have highlighted the round table that we had with Minister Honig and the visit and the civic reception. It was, I was talking to Mayor McAllister today from what's currently known as Cootagundagai Regional Council, soon to be separated, of course, with the de-amalgamation announced today by Minister Honig. But talking to Mayor McAllister, he was saying that last night at dinner, the Minister was sharing some fantastic reflections about Temora Shire and in terms of the warmth and also that he received from Council and our community, but also I'm very impressed with what Temora Shire is achieving, and I just thought that was great that he's sharing that with others, not just with us. So again, I thank Council for making the effort to be involved with Minister Honig's visit, which has obviously left a warm, everlasting impression. Further delegates' reports. Councillor Judd.
Just following on your remarks about the Minister, Mr Mayor, I didn't come with very high expectations to the meeting with the Minister, but I was certainly exceeded my expectations. I'm very pleased with it, and I did express my view at the time about one thing he's championing is that trying to eliminate depreciation off our books, especially on what he called unrealisable assets. And I think if he can achieve that, it'll be a great step forward for us. And so it was great to see. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Judd. And I think, again, as I've said in many forums around New South Wales, that this is a once in one or two generation opportunity to have a minister who is the leader of the House in the Legislative Assembly and also the Vice President of the Legislative Council and in Cabinet to realise genuine reform to strengthen the sector. It's quite exciting, to be quite frank. Again, you know, we're going to butt heads with him on occasions, but that's okay. In the main, we know he's in our corner, and I believe that to be the case. Councillor Irvine.
One observation of the Minister is, unlike a lot of ministers, he's actually got experience in the portfolio that he's representing. So a lot of ministers will end up being the police minister, and the closest they've been to the policing is getting a parking fine or a ticket for speeding, whereas his background is 30 odd years in local government. So he does understand the place that he understands it deeply, and he understands a lot of the problems that exist there. So it's very rare to have a minister who actually has got so much experience in the portfolio that they're representing.
Thank you, Councillor Irvine. I can't disagree, and I think the Chamber would acknowledge those sentiments, and he is genuinely committed. Again, whether you agree with everything or not, he is really devoted to the portfolio, and I think that's a big tick. Councillor, just to advise that the General Manager and I will be attending some very important meetings in Sydney with Country Mayors Association in early next month. There is a workshop that the Minister for Environment, Minister Penny Sharp, has agreed, and we're very, very impressed with this. She's agreed to host all of the CMA members in a workshop for 3 hours to touch on, to workshop the biodiversity concerns across the state and waste. That was the deal. If she did the biodiversity, she said, well, can we also do waste as well? So we are having that at Parliament House. We've already got something like 70 something booked in for that workshop. So we're just grateful that Minister Sharp's keen to sit, listen, learn, and likewise our CMA members want to listen and learn as well. But it'll be interesting. And then, of course, whilst we're there, we'll be meeting with the Minister for Emergency Services, the Honourable Jihad Dib. We'll be just further amplifying what this council, REROC and CMA members are saying in relation to the recommendations of the RFS to please implement them as soon as possible. There is a dinner, of course, in the evening with the former Prime Minister, Mr Abbott, for the members. And then on Friday, it's a big session. The Chief Magistrate of New South Wales, the Police Minister, the Deputy Commissioner, the State Treasurer will be meeting with our members. So it's a great opportunity for our members to share concerns about whether it's budget, crime, law and order. So we look forward to sharing what transpires at that meeting in Sydney. No further delegates' reports. If not, let us proceed to page 273, the Mayor's report for the month of June, and there's a recommendation on page 276 that the Mayor's report be noted. Thank you, Councillor Smith. Moving the recommendation. Thank you. Seconder. Thank you, Councillor Mann. Moved. Seconded. Discussion. There's no discussion. I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. The contrary, no. Declare that carried. Thank you very much. Motion, please, as we proceed over to page 277, motion to receive staff reports. Thank you, Councillor Bushell. Thank you, Councillor Hawken. Moved. Seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. The contrary, no. Declare that carried. Thank you very much. Let's go to page 278, the General Manager's report, 12.1, calendar of events for July. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The report's as written. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you. The General Manager has the calendar of events there for Council to consider, and there is a recommendation that Council note those events. Councillor Hawken, moving the recommendation. Thank you. Seconder. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Sinclair. Moved. Seconded. Discussion. No discussion. I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. The contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Page 279, 12.2, the seals. General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. We've only had the one seal in the past month, and this was for the agreement for developer infrastructure deferred payment with M&S Brennan Developments. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. The councillors, you have the seal there, and there's a recommendation that Council endorse the seal being affixed to the document. Thank you, the Deputy Mayor. Councillor Sinclair, you're moving the recommendation. Thank you. Seconded, Councillor Mann. Thank you. Moved. Seconded. Is there discussion? No discussion. I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Pardon me. Councillors, on page 280, 12.3, the development application and noting.
Yeah, to declare a pecuniary interest, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. The Director's declared his interest in vacating the chamber. Thank you. And therefore, in the absence of the Town Planner, the General Manager will be handling the report, the development application 3025 alterations and additions to Terminus Hotel. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So this particular DA is for the demolition of an existing shed, construction of 2 brick veneer single bedroom accommodation units, with one of those being an accessible accommodation unit. and a gaming room as well. There have been no objections to the DA, and there has been a Heritage Advisors report included as part of the assessment. I will take questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. The report is open for your discussion. It's always great to see development applications. I'll go to Councillor Irvine.
Does the hotel currently have gaming machines, and if so, how many?
Thank you, Councillor Irvine. Question to the General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe it doesn't, in terms of the steps or the processes required for gaming machine licences, that would be a separate process, and a social impact assessment has to be undertaken as part of that process. So that is actually noted in the report, that any consideration for the gaming machines themselves is part of a separate application process and not part of a development assessment consideration.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move the recommendations, please.
Thank you. So Councillor Bushell, you're moving the recommendation that is on page 297 that development application DA 35/2025 Terminus Hotel alterations and additions be approved subject to conditions. So moving that way, is there a seconder? Councillor Hawken. Councillor Hawken has seconded the motion. Thank you. Discussion. Go to Councillor Irvine.
Is there any indication how many gaming machines they intend to acquire?
Thank you, Councillor Irvine, the General Manager. You can take on notice if you have to.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I would have to take that question on notice.
Thank you. I'll take that on notice, Councillor Irvine. Thank you. For discussion on the motion, again, a planning matter, so we'll have show of hands when we put it to the vote. Councillor Judd.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'm in favour of it, but just got a question. Our engineer might be able to answer it. What is mechanical garbage on page 283?
I'm glad someone asked that. Thank you, Councillor Judd. I will go to the Executive Manager of Engineering Services. You know?
I don't think I can help. We'll have a look at this report.
Oh, rats. You take that on notice as well, but thank you, Councillor Judd. Councillor Bushell, discussion on the motion.
It could be a process of, thank you, Mr. Mayor. It could be a process of taking down the food to a certain level of confinement, so that way it's easier to compost or do whatever. So that could be mechanical garbage.
Thank you, Councillor Bushell. See, we're always learning. Thank you. Further discussion on the motion? If not, I'm going to put the motion and ask you as a planning decision to please raise your hands if you're in favour or you're opposed. So all those of that opinion, please raise your hands. And I declare the motion carried unanimously. I thank Council. Thanks, Councillor Bushell. Did well.
No, not for this one.
Thank you. Welcome back to the chamber, Mr. Director. During your temporary absence, councillors considered the development application 3025 before us, and they have resolved unanimously to approve the recommendation. Now, nothing of an urgent late nature from the Director. Thank you. Yes, that's right, but in your department though. Oh, sorry, no, that was the General Manager's department. I beg your pardon. That's quite right. Okay, so Madam General Manager, you don't have anything else of an urgent late nature in your report?
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No, thank you. Now, let's go to page 303, the Engineering Services Department report, 13.1 Hoskin Street parking consolidated resolutions, and I'll vacate the chamber and ask the Deputy Mayor to please chair this session. Thank you.
Councillors, item 13.1, Hoskin Street parking consolidated resolutions. Ask the hand over to the engineering department.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chairman. The report is as written, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd just like to thank the manager for articulating all that jumble of mess into a good report, and I'm very happy with the recommendations, and I'd like to move them. They were very clear. Thank you.
Okay, the recommend resolution on page 306 has been moved by Councillor Bushell. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Smith, second the motion. Discussion. Councillor Judd.
Thanks, Mr Deputy Mayor. As expressed at that committee meeting, I'm very happy to see the changes proposed for the area next to the Westpac Bank where the old taxi rank used to be. It's an area that's been frustrating me for years, seeing good parking area being tied up and not being able to use, and I'm glad to see it's been moved across the street to the eastern side, and we're hoping we can get some extra few car space, so it's actually a very good move. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Judd. Further comments, discussions? It says Councillor Irvine.
I had a phone call from someone who got fined for parking in the 2-hour parking down in Loftus Street the other day, and they were frustrated because the enforcement's very intermittent. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of provision for people to park if they're workers or business owners in and around the CBD. They have to basically get right around now to Baker Street to park. There's no option really to park in Deboo Street, considering the courthouse, the police station, the schools, so they're basically parked out by people who are there. So there are limited options. The Ex-Services Club has a high volume of parking in Baker Street and in Loftus Street. So these people copped it on the chin. They weren't up in arms about it, but the fact that the parking options for people who are working in the CBD are very limited, and these people had parked down around in Loftus Street and then copped a fine, they were just a bit frustrated, and they were also frustrated at the, I suppose the, if we're going to enforce parking compliance, then we need to do it consistently so people can expect the consistent enforcement. If you're doing it lackadaisically or very intermittently, then people will probably fall into bad habits, and then it creates this, what would you say? It's just a inconsistency in the enforcement, I think, that probably causes some issues maybe for council in the future. So I just wanted to pass that on. As far as the recommendations in this report, I think it's been a very slow and drawn out process, but I think to consider any of these items individually would have been counterproductive, and I think the whole suite of recommendations here do address a lot of things in a very sensible and thoughtful manner.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Irvine. Councillor Irvine, yeah. Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Chair. I'm intrigued as to the evidence of the inconsistency quote. Is there evidence to back that inconsistency?
Councillor Irvine.
Well, I might have to get a report as to how often traffic enforcement's conducted on the basis in town, and we'll work it from there.
Engineer Manager, did you have a comment?
Oh, thanks, Mr. Chair. And only to acknowledge the work of Amanda Colwell. Councillor Bushell, I think, complimented the work, and it wasn't me. Amanda done 99% of this, and she's done an excellent job. Just the overlays of the, to put the CAD drawing, underlain with the aerial imagery, it makes it very easy to read, and she's been very responsive, and it's turned out pretty well. So all Amanda.
Thanks, Manager. No further comments. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Motion carried. Thank you. Mr Mayor, in your absence, the Council moved the recommendation on page 306.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Where are we? Thank you very much. Let's now go to page 307, the Environmental Services Department report. 14.1, the Bundawarra Estate Master Plan, completion of exhibition, and the Director of Environmental Services.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. This summarises the exhibition process and the feedback we got. The feedback did result in a minor change to a road that was requested to curve around further away from a dwelling in the middle of the page off Bundawarra Road. That's the only real change. This is the first part of the process. This sort of gives us some short-term guidance about how we deal with development applications for sheds and houses in the locality to make sure that they don't get an area that's going to ruin the whole master plan. So the next phase is, rezoning when it's required, and infrastructure service plans, and even developer contribution plans. So it's very long term, but this gives us some surety going forward, and I commend the recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Director. Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Am I at this stage able to ask a question?
You may.
Thank you. So my question is, for the sale of the property, how do people get notified if we do adopt this Bundawarra Estate Master Plan? I presume it goes into the planning certificate, but where does it lie within that? So that way people are flagged or informed for new people coming in.
Thank you, Councillor Bushell. The Director.
Yeah, it will be noted on all planning certificates, so we'll have a note on the property file and the mainframe that brings this to purchasers' attention. It's important that they know so that they go into the purchase of their land with their eyes open, so it will be front and centre of any planning certificate that's...
Thank you, Mr. Director. Thank you, Councillor Bushell. Councillors, you have the report there for you to consider. Is someone prepared to move the recommendation, or is an alternate view? The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Mr Mayor, I'll move the recommendation that the Council adopt the amended Bundawarra Estate Plan, Master Plan.
Thank you. Seconder for the motion. Thank you, Councillor Jukic. Moved, seconded. Further discussion. Councillor Irvine.
And just for clarity, my understanding is that adoption of any of these provisions will be voluntary with the landowners unless they can get some sort of consensus, or unless a developer comes along and buys multiple parcels and wants to develop a section in one go. So it makes sense to have an overarching mud map, I suppose, but it's still going to be, as it outlines in the documentation, a very, very long-term proposition to see this come to pass.
Yes, that's true, Councillor Irvine, but I think at least, as you alluded to, that at least, you know, if this is adopted, Council will have something preparing ourselves for that exciting future. If there's no further discussion, I'll put the motion to the chamber. All those of that opinion, please say aye. I beg your pardon, a show of hands, of course, please, being a planning matter. All those of that opinion, please raise your hands. To the contrary, carried unanimously. Thank you very much. And again, well done, Mr. Director and Town Planning, your department. You've done some good work. Is there anything now, Mr. Director, of an urgent late nature?
Nothing more, Mr Mayor.
No, thank you. Councillors, let's go over to page 361, the Administration and Finance Department report. And we have Neil to report, but we're not allowed to make light of that because I did that and got my shins kicked because they've had a very busy June. So, no, that's very good. Thank you. Now, let's go to page 362, correspondence. 16.1, the Southern Sports Academy, the General Manager.
Mr Mayor, I'll
Thank you. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, is vacating the room. He has relations that are listed there as a part of the Academy. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So this request is for $200 per athlete, and this year the Southern Sports Academy has noted we have 9 athletes from our shire nominated, and the request is for a total, which would make the request for a total of $1,800. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. Look, this is fantastic. Council to see so many youngsters, and again, as many or some of you may know, that they can vary. Sometimes you'll have none, sometimes you'll have several, sometimes you'll have a number as we have before us from Area Park and Temora, which is just tremendous to see. Councillors, when it's been high, I think it was around was it $2,000 when we had a real big year, Council approved that we grant the $200 to those athletes, and further that we ask the Temora District Sports Council if they'd like to contribute as well. And of course, as you know, the Sports Council is a subcommittee of the Shire Council, and I, from memory, I'm sure that the Sports Council made a contribution towards the Southern Sports Academy. So that's a motion that I'd commend the Chamber to consider. So the item's there for Council's consideration. I go to Councillor Judd.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Interesting note on their letter to the council about their efforts to align with Bound for Brisbane, with the Olympics being held in Brisbane in 2032. And we hope, we can imagine that many of these young athletes we're helping today may be competing in those Olympics. So I hope we all wish them all the best.
Exactly right, Councillor Judd. Thank you, and you just never know. Well, councillors, there is that suggestion for a motion that council approve the Southern Sports Academy, what do we call them? But athletes, to the tune of $200, and further that we seek advice from the Sports Council if they would like to make a contribution. Is someone prepared to move that way, or is there an alternate view? Councillor Judd, you're happy to move that way. Seconder, Councillor Djukic, thank you, moved. Seconded, discussion. No discussion, I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. Contrary, no. Declare that motion carried. Thanks very much, councillors. Thank you, Councillor Bushell. Thank you, Councillor Bushell, and welcome back to the chamber, Mr Deputy Mayor. During your temporary absence, Council resolved in relation to Southern Sports Academy sponsorship requests that we approve the funding of $200 per athlete for each of the 9 athletes, and further that the Temora District Sports Council be invited to consider making a contribution. And that was carried unanimously, so thank you. Pardon me. Anything further of a late urgent nature in terms of correspondence, Madam General Manager?
No, thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Councillors, we proceed over to page 365. We're not in receipt of business with notice. We don't have notices of motion. Is there any urgent business without notice? No, thank you. Councillors, over to page 366. Motion please to receive the councillors' information paper. Thank you. Councillor Hawken has moved that way. Second to the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair. Moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. The contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Councillors, the information paper you have before you, is there any items that you wish to highlight? Any items? Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just a question regarding rates. When do we expect to see our rates notice, considering there's a rates report in there, an update, when they're coming out?
Thank you, Councillor Bushell, the Director of Administration Finance.
Through you, Mr Mayor, I imagine ratepayers will be receiving those next week. Yep.
Thank you. I might ask the Director of Administration Finance to please clarify on page 392. See the funding deficit there, just to allay some perhaps fears that some in the chamber may have. The Director.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So there's unrestricted funds have a deficit of $1.7 million. Part of that has been received after the end of the month. Some large grant funding was received, which is about $1 million worth. Just to note that these figures are not finalised, given that our balance sheet hasn't been finalised yet. So items such as the employee leave entitlements, the reserve for that hasn't been finalised, and we imagine that that reserve would decrease this year. So there'll be some rejigging of the figures between now and when they're finalised at the time of audit.
Thank you, Madam Director. Any comments, questions of the Director? No. Any other items out of the information paper? The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yeah, just the minutes of the local government week. Just remind councillors that's coming up end of July, first week of into August. So yeah, try and make yourselves available for some of the activities, please. I'm sorry you haven't.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor, and thank you for acting as the chairman of that committee that myself and Councillor Hawken sit on, alongside the General Manager and the Communications Officer and our Economic Development Officer. Yeah, we look forward to that week every year. So, yes, again, if councillors can participate or attend or both, that would be tremendous. There's nothing further. The Director of Environmental Services.
Can I just draw councillors' attention to page 401? It's the operating report for the Temora Town Hall Theatre. Pleased to report a small surplus for the last financial year, which is a good turnaround on the previous year. So the volunteers to be commended.
Thank you, Mr Director. Yes, I must admit I did have that circled, and yeah, we are very, very pleased, and it's credit to obviously yourself and to the manager, to the volunteers for their efforts. Thank you. I go to Councillor Judd.
Just a question to Executive Engineering Manager. With the Roads Congress, was anything to note coming out of that report? on the comments.
Thank you, Councillor Judd. The executive,
405 onwards.
thank you. The executive manager of engineering services.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. Listen, without going through the report in detail, I don't really have a lot of comment other than the fact that I did notice they've basically, called out what they'd like to see from all the tiers of governments, and it's the usual that local government does better with asset management, and that the other levels of government do better with funding local government. So, I don't have any specific comments. So,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Councillor Judd. Nothing further, the information paper. If not, could I please have a motion in accordance with section 10A of the Local Government Act 1993, advise that there are several matters to be considered, and accordingly I require a motion to have those matters considered as we move into a committee of the whole. Thank you. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, has moved that way. Seconder for the motion. Thank you, Councillor Dukic. Moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. The contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Thank you very much. We resume into open session of Temora Shire Council's July meeting, and I would now like to ask the General Manager to please read the following motions that have been brought forward from closed session into open. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whilst we're in confidential, Council considered the mayoral minute a mayoral citation. It was resolved that Council award a mayoral citation to those outstanding citizens mentioned within the body of the report. The minutes of the Economic Development Committee held on the 8th of July 2025 were considered. It was resolved that the reports and recommendations as presented be adopted. In relation to the minutes of the Aerodrome Users Committee held on the 8th of July 2025, it was resolved that the reports and recommendations as presented be adopted. In relation to the tender assessment of regional collection and processing of domestic organic options, it was resolved that Council endorse MRA Consulting Group as a preferred tenderer for the Food Organics and Garden Organics FOGO recycling project. In relation to the NCAP proceedings, it was resolved that Council receive and note the report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. So, councillors, there are the motions that have been brought forward from closed session into open session. Could I have a motion, please, to formally have those resolutions adopted? Thank you, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair. Thank you, Councillor Hawken. Moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. I declare the motion carried. Is there any other urgent, late business for Council to consider? If not, Councillor Martin.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, would you be able to just give the Chamber an update on the Temora Hospital redevelopment? I noticed that you made a comment during the week that it was progressing.
Thank you, Councillor Martin. I'd probably, though it's very important business, I'm not sure whether we could technically call it urgent, so I'm happy to give that after we close. So, there being no further business, I declare the meeting closed, and thank you all very much for your attendance.